Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we hear from some of people who knew a Kentucky sheriff's deputy who was killed in the line of duty. And as we approach the one-year anniversary of a deadly ambush here in our region, the Floyd County Sheriff's Department works to keep its officers safe from further tragedies.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you all. It's almost 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Let's head out over to meteorologist Cameron Aaron for a check of that weather this morning. And Cameron, it feels pretty good outside this morning.
Yeah, very comfortable this morning and really comfortable throughout the rest of your Wednesday. But we are watching out for a cold front tonight, and that will kind of bring us down into the 70s tomorrow, but lower 80s are likely on your Wednesday. This morning, though, most of us waking up in the upper 50s, but a few upper 40s in some places right now. As you can see on the temperature map, most of us in those 50s, 53 for London, 57 over in Jackson, but check out some of those cooler pockets, 45 in Clintonwood, 47 for Grundy, and 48 over in Jonesville this morning. So we're comfortable out there. We're also dry as you walk out the door as well, all thanks to high pressure just off to the east. But notice a cold front over the Great Lakes that will continue to slowly move off to the south towards us, but we are not looking at any rain chances because moisture is just really not there at this hour. But those temperatures will continue to warm as we go into the afternoon, highs topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. We stay dry today and really dry for much of this week until this weekend. More showers are possible. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Dakota?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A small Kentucky town is preparing to say goodbye to a deputy shot and killed on Monday. Deputy Caleb Conley worked for the Scott County Sheriff's Office, but was from Cynthiana in Harrison County. He was beloved by many in the town, from working on a farm to serving his country, then working as a deputy in neighboring Scott County. WYMT's Phil Pendleton talked to people who say they were greatly impacted by his service.
Hours before a lengthy procession came through Cynthiana, people began lining up to see it.
He was such a good person to everyone and meant so much to everybody, and it's just, you know, I just don't get why God decides to take such good people so early, but because they really did take a good one.
Ellington says Conley worked for her parents' farm. His work ethic, his service to his country, and dedication to law enforcement were highlighted by many who knew him.
A deputy sheriff and somebody that truly, and I mean truly, loved what he did. I mean, he was 150%.
Deputy Conley worked in Scott County and was very dedicated there, but the sheriff here in Harrison County says that he tried to get him to come back home many times.
He loved where he was, and he loved Sheriff Hampton over there. Tony's done a great job with that office, and he was good to Caleb.
The procession from Frankfort to Cynthiana involved several hundred cars and SUVs. People lined up in silence and respect as it went by.
Came out here, I wanted to honor Caleb, you know, the best way I could. I mean, he deserves to be honored for what he did, you know, in that line of work.
He was a real good boy, real good person, dedicated to his job. He loved the job.
The procession ended at Ware Funeral Home, where the arrangements for his services will be made. In Harrison County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, a couple in Georgetown found themselves staring down the barrel of a gun being held by a shooting suspect. That was right after he allegedly had just shot and killed Deputy Conley. While the encounter only lasted a few minutes, the couple says it felt like an eternity and went from a simple request for help to a forceful demand for their car and included threats on their life. The man who police would later identify as the suspect, Stephen Xiangsheng, had approached another neighbor asking for their vehicle or a ride, but they refused. That is when the man returned to Gary and Rebecca McQuain's home and forced his way inside.
He finally got in the kitchen, and he never made a threat to shoot her, but he said to her 4 different times, he said, "I want the keys to the van right now, or I'm going to shoot him." And he kept pointing back at me with the gun.
And then in just a couple minutes, I realized there's blood drops all on the floor where this guy was standing. So I don't know where he was bleeding from, but he was bleeding because neither one of us, thankfully, were injured.
Well, the couple's white Dodge Caravan was found abandoned in Lexington. The suspect left his Nissan Murano in their driveway, which was towed away from the scene late Monday night. The impact of Deputy Conley's death is deeply understood here in our region, as we are also approaching the 1 year since 3 officers and a K-9 were killed in the Allen community. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt says when events like Monday happened, he can't help but reflect. WYMT's Olivia Calfee talked with him about the past, present, and how to continue moving forward.
Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt says despite the hard days they have faced, he is proud to see how William Petrie, Ralph Frazier, Jacob Chaffins, and K-9 Drago have been honored. And he says the strength their families have shown is remarkable.
16-year-old boy don't have his dad no more. A wife who depended on her husband to come home every evening from work and be the husband of the family and the daddy of the family. So those are the people who's made the sacrifice that you see these services memorialize and give tribute to, and it's rewarding for them, and it's rewarding to see that them get the respect that they deserve.
Following the shooting in Scott County Monday night, Sheriff Hunt says they've stood in similar shoes as he reflects on the past year, saying community support has really been what's helped them get through.
It all is impossible without community support and love. I mean, from every pastor, every church. Listen, it didn't matter if it was from drug dealers to career criminals or whatever. It's times like this that they come to you and say, listen, no matter what side, we support you and we hate what happened and we love you all.
And Sheriff Hunt shares his own advice for the Scott County Sheriff's Department and community.
Don't feel bad to say, listen, we're just going to stay together today. We're going to come together as our employees, our staff comes together and just chill out for a while and just be together and just focus on what has happened, what we do from here, take care of the family of the officer that's been shot, bring them in and make sure they know that they're a part of us and we're going to take care of them.
That was Olivia Calfee reporting. Since the shooting, Sheriff Hunt says the department has shifted some of its funds to get new equipment, such as armor shields, ballistic shields, and it is upgrading its vests to encounter high-powered sniper-type rifles. Well, thank you so much for getting your Wednesday morning started with this here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we learn more about the man accused of trying to break through barriers near the White House and what he hoped to achieve.
Plus, we stay dry on Wednesday, but we are watching out for rain chances by this weekend. All those details coming up in just a few minutes.